Planning on adopting a child in Jamaica? Here's what you need to know. In Jamaica, the adoption process of a child is state controlled and administratively driven. All right. Now, what does that mean? It means that the Child Protection and Family Services Agency, along with the Adoption Board, those are the governmental bodies which control adoption in this jurisdiction. So what is the adoption process? Well, adoption is a legal process by which parental rights and responsibilities are transferred from biological parent to that of the adoptive parents. Now, there are two types of adoption in Jamaica. We have what is called the adoption order, whereby if you're domiciled in the island, you can apply for an adoption order, or if you're a Jamaican citizen or you're ordinarily resident in Jamaica, you can apply for an adoption order. Then you have what is called an adoption license, which usually is given to a foreign national for adoption in Jamaica. And the process is completed when the child and the adoptive parent travel overseas. The process is completed in their courts overseas. All right. Now, in this jurisdiction, who can apply? You must be 25 years or older if you're applying to adopt a non-relative. If you're a relative and you're planning on adopting one of your relatives, then you should be 18 years or older. Now, the child to be adopted must be at least 6 weeks old, or the child should be under the age of 18 years in order to be legally adopted in this jurisdiction. As I said, the process is state control and administratively driven. Now, a potential or prospective adoptive parent needs to satisfy the state that they are financially stable, that they are physically and mentally fit, that they have proper accommodation for the child, and that they are of good character. So therefore, you're going to need character references. You're going to need police record. You're going to need to satisfy the state of your financial stability with bank statements, etc., etc. Now, this process is not simple, neither is it quick, right? There are inbuilt processes to ensure that the child, that the process is in the best interest and the best welfare of the child. So the welfare of the child is of paramount importance when it comes to adoption in this jurisdiction. Now, the adoption board role is to match potential parent with children. All right. Also, they are the ones who make the recommendations to the courts. And the courts in Jamaica, that is the family court in Kingston and St. Andrew, or the parish courts in the other parishes, they play a role, oversight role in the process, and one can be refused an application for adoption if the court feels that it is not going to benefit the child. All right. Also, when it comes to adoption in this jurisdiction, the married couple can apply jointly, or a single woman. But when it comes to a single man trying to adopt a female child, there are restrictions unless the court finds special circumstances to allow that. All right? So a single man is usually not able to adopt a female child. All right. Now, also, when it comes to adoption, the role of the parents of the biological parents of the child, must give their consent to the process. The biological father, if he is recognized as the father, meaning his name is on the birth certificate, and he can be found, he has to give his consent as well. Now, for the children who are usually adopted, are children who are orphans, children who are under state control or state care, and children who their parents have relinquished their parental rights and obligations. Now, as I said, the process is not easy, it's not simple, because you have court dates, and there are going to be home visits, and the matching of the parent and the child, and that process will take a 3-month period where the child will adjust, both parents and child will adjust to each other, etc., etc. So the process is supervised. All right? And when it comes to adoption of children who will be leaving the jurisdiction, Jamaica is not a signatory. Neither have we ratified the Hague Convention when it comes to children protection of children. So adoption from Jamaica, when it comes to foreign courts, will be more closely scrutinized, because we would not have any Hague Convention certificate, all right, which will show that proper checks and balances have been done. Only the Child Protection and Family Services Agency and the Adoption Board would be responsible for the process, the checking and balancing and so on of the process. So we are more scrutinized in Jamaica. So, as I said, the adoption process is not simple, and it is inbuilt for it to not be, because to safeguard certain things. Also, let me just say this, that the roles that attorneys play when in the process is limited, and this is to prevent commercialization of the process, whereby people with deeper pockets are more favored over other persons. So attorneys' roles are limited when it comes to the process. And but as I said, it must be in the best welfare of the child, and the parents must be fit and proper individuals. All right? The process is there, and people need to use it, but it is heavily state controlled. All right? So that is it when it comes to adoption process in Jamaica. God bless you until we meet again. Amen.